So last week, my family did like a little like seed swap gathering for the upcoming gardening season,
As we all do.
as all families do. And I was talking to my brother about the games I've been playing recently,
Sure.
and brought up like a Dragon Ishin, and I said something like, it's got like your favorite himbos from the Yakuza series, but they're in like Edo era Japan. And he asked what a himbo was.
Oh, it's been sheltered from the internet, I see.
Yeah, a pure soul. A real
Yeah, or maybe
blessed soul.
doesn't maybe doesn't watch any JoJo.
I think he has actually. But here's the thing. I didn't have like a preloaded definition,
Okay.
So I think what I'm asking you here, James, is in your own words, what is a himbo?
I'd say it's a handsome buff boy who isn't very bright. Means
Okay.
well though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then I would have to, try and think of some notable himbos. I think, Kiryu Kazuma is a good example of one, mostly
Yeah.
for the sake of, I think he's missing a lot of social cues, but, his heart is always there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we got quite a few JoJos that fit the bill as well.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, retrospectively or like after the fact, I just have like 3 notes on like how to define a himbo.
Mm-hmm.
I have dumb as bricks, well intentioned, hot as hell.
Okay.
I think in that order, unless well intentioned should be first.
I think that's like exactly the opposite of what... I mean, it's the same thing I said, but in the reverse order. Handsome buff
Right.
boy who isn't very bright.
Yeah.
But yeah, dumb as bricks. I think the dumb is... I guess, on first glance at a himbo, you see it's an attractive person. Then you reveal that they're dumb as bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final thing is you find out their heart is there. They're well-intentioned. They mean the best.
Yeah.
Somebody isn't a himbo on first glance. They become a himbo.
Well said. I'm glad you could help me, process this. I was just so taken aback.
Yeah, either die a hottie or live long enough to say something dumb where someone calls you a himbo.
Yeah. And there is no shortage of himbos in like a Dragon Ishin.
Do they? I guess. So I'm pretty well versed in all of these games besides Ishin.
Mm-hmm.
What I know about it is that all my favorite people are there under a different name. Is that sort of the gist of it? They're kind of all there.
Yeah.
The whole gang's there.
Yeah. Did you play the combat demo, right?
Yes, I did.
Do you know like how far did that go?
So it was disconnected from the story. So it's just like throwing you right into a mission with no plot whatsoever. It's quite literally just to see the combat stances. So they
Dang,
throw a bunch
okay.
of enemies at you. So I know nothing other than that there is a mode that lets you have a gun in one hand and a sword in the other. And that's sick.
Yeah, which is the coolest thing imaginable. Yeah, I was hoping that combo demo maybe guided you through like the first chapter at least.
Oh, no, it kept me pretty far removed from it.
Okay. So you play as not Kiryu Kazuma, but Ryoma Sakamoto, which is kind of confusing. I kind of wish they just kept him Kiryu,
But then it'd be confusing if Kiryu Kazuma existed in Edo era Japan.
Okay, I was going to get to this later, but I'm just going to say it now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if this is an isekai,
Oh,
Yeah,
and most of those start with our protagonist getting hit by a truck, and there's very bad traffic in Kamurocho. So I could see, Kiryu getting hit by a truck, he's in a coma or something, and this whole thing exists in his head.
Yeah, it's all of the people that he knows. They use like modern slang in this, despite taking place like hundreds of years ago. Maybe that's how it ends. I have no idea. That's my running theory, though.
So, just a little bit of a sidetrack. Have you seen the kind of retelling of Romeo and Juliet starring Leonardo DiCaprio?
I think I did in like high school.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a a 90s retelling, but they still use all Shakespearean slang. I think it's a complete inverse of of what you're describing here, because it's all modern, guns, fashion, everything, nightclubs, music, but everybody speaks Shakespearean.
See, I hate that. But the inverse,
it's a fever dream.
The inverse, I love,
Yeah.
I want to see like a peasant say the word John,
Oh my. Yeah, I want some medieval slang.
Anywho, dog, this is just like a Yakuza game, and
Fantastic.
it rules. It's got like the city part, right? Which I think is, and I should note, I have like a more limited experience with Yakuza.
Mm-hmm.
I played like a dragon, and I played Yakuza 0 and a little bit of Kiwami. So I'm sure you'll be filling in some of the gaps here.
Absolutely.
They got the city right, which I think is among like the most important things you have to get right in a Yakuza game.
So does it still feel like, I think the best thing they have is that the cities have always been designed with the idea that you actually live in this city. That's why there's things like karaoke to do, and you can walk into pretty much every food place, even though you can maybe only order like a drink in there, but it's supposed to feel like it's a livable place. That's like an aesthetic they're really good at capturing.
Yeah, absolutely. And once you get into like the open world city part of this game, you can do karaoke. I ripped through like an old rendition of Bakumatai. There is fishing, there's dancing, you run into the sub stories.
Oh, yes.
It's so good. And the plot is like it's like it's just class warfare. It's like not even like in the subtext. It's like literally you're like part of like the lower class, and the higher class, they're called the Joshi.
Mm-hmm.
They're like all assholes. A really good feature in this game is that when you're reading text and there's like a term that you might not know because you're not like an expert on this era of history.
Yeah.
You can press start and it'll give you the definition, which
my.
I think is great because like I don't know what words like Joshi or like Tosa or like the names of the different cities are, but they'll just give it to you there, which I think is a really good feature.
Are they all? Is it like historically accurate? So like in the newer games, Kamurocho is based off of Kabukicho. Is that what's the actual town it's based off of in Japan? Like they kind of changed the name on a few of the main cities for modern Yakuza.
I can't remember. Like the nightlife part of Tokyo, right?
Oh God, okay, it's Kabukicho. I don't know if I'm saying the name right, but like they slightly changed the names of it. So is it giving you actual like historically accurate information with the subtext?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, like and like Sotenburi isn't in the new one is based off of Dotonburi
in Osaka, yeah.
But they both still have the big crab on the seafood place.
Yeah.
If you can visualize that.
The guy running is kind of iconic, you know?
I don't know the guy running.
Okay. It's like just like a big thing on like the billboard on that river.
Ah.
But going back to like the class part, I started thinking like I think like Yakuza has always been interested in those kinds of subjects. Whether or not it has like succeeded in them is like a different story. But like most of the games that I've played at least have like some element of wanting to talk about like homelessness or like sex workers. You're always like a wrongly accused prisoner in all of these games.
Yeah, that happens.
So it's like up their alley.
Yeah, especially in Like a Dragon, the turn-based one. I think that has a lot of good examples of that specifically. Especially you, like you are specifically a hero of who's like, you're a 40-year-old guy who gets to, after you're like imprisonment, you're sort of spending your time now, like you start on that homeless camp and you kind of meet those people, help with their struggles, and then it leads into like helping Like you're really working with like sex workers and helping out their community, and it's I don't I don't know. I guess they have a good job at then establishing the people that are trying to crush those things as just pure evil. Bleach Japan.
Yeah. Oh God, I forgot about this fool.
They're the absolute worst.
Yeah. Now I have a question.
Yeah.
After playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, do you have trouble going back to the other games that are not turn-based, that are just like straight action games?
I don't know entirely. So the last one I have played was Like a Dragon. Got my turn-based fixed. But playing through the demo, at least for Ishin, I realized I really did miss the different stances, and it feels pretty fast because I really like the very long cutscenes this franchise likes to throw at us.
Mm-hmm.
Watching a very long crime drama. So with the different stance changes and just pummeling people to the ground, especially if you set the game on easy, it feels like you can get through combat a lot faster too. So I think it's almost refreshing, but I could see myself getting bored of it again and missing kind of how complex the turn-based bit would get.
Yeah, I hear you. And the 4 stances in this game are sword, fist, gun, and sword.
Oh, gun and sword is so good. But I like the idea of bringing fist to the sword fight too.
Yeah, totally. I kind of wanted to do like a run or maybe like a stream of like fists only. like Kiryu doesn't want to use weapons.
Weird type of like where Batman won't use guns. But do that with Kiryu, where you also don't use swords.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said that, because like another thought I had is like, do you feel like Yakuza games are superhero games in a way?
Absolutely. I mean, the whole like story of Kiryu becoming the Dragon of Dojima is based around him like standing down and fighting like 100 guys. And
but
just like as the player, he comes out of that with like out a scratch on him. Maybe a couple like he's probably been shot, stabbed a bunch of times, but he's fine.
Yeah, somehow. It's so just like a superhero story to me, which I think is my favorite part of it. Like above anything else, the crime drama is cool and stuff, but just like walking around and experiencing the sub stories, I think is like this series at its best.
Yeah, and again, Like a Dragon, like the game gives you the kind of agency to be that type of hero. You can walk by and just ignore every little thing you see, but that game sort of encourages you. Like there's even a whole like phone text mechanic they have in the game where there's like crimes and stuff, and you get to just be this small time vigilante. You can find when people are in trouble and go and rescue them, and then you get rewards and stuff.
Yeah.
Just something just Ichiban is the best at, because he just wants to be a hero anyways, and he's kind of basing his whole ideology off of being a Dragon Quest hero.
Yeah.
It's a vigilante story.
Totally. I mean, you said Batman, and I was like, yeah, that's who you are.
Except you have no money. You know what? This game actually kind of makes you become filthy rich by just beating the pulp out of people.
It's a real rags to riches story, though.
Yeah. Or if you run Ichiban Confections, it's overnight.
Yeah, I was about to say, you don't start with a confectionery.
Yeah, no, you work your way up to that.
Oh, man. So I wanted to spend this episode talking about Like a Dragon Ishin, but I feel like we're just talking about like Ichiban.
Well,
that lovable cast.
So the director of Like a Dragon, the turn-based one. It's very hard to specify them now. Ryosuke Hori. I took notes on this one, but when Yakuza 3 came out, that's when they first brought in like the karaoke missions, and that's where they really wanted Okinawa to feel like a place you could be, because the first 2 were released on the PlayStation 2. There was still the same like story was there, but obviously they couldn't have that much stuff packed into the city. But the creator who then went on to make the game we're discussing here threw karaoke in it, and his coworkers all believe that he went too far with it. I took oh God, what was this quote here? Yeah, so Hori stated that his coworkers believed he had misdirected the minigame and taken it too far, as they said it was too odd and out of place for a tough man like Kiryu to do something so out of character. But he still kept it, put the karaoke in the game, and that became like a huge staple of the series, which led to all the sub-stories being built out of it, and I think the ridiculous games we have as a result of that are from this guy. And then we got Like a Dragon, which I think has gone on to become my favorite. I was like looking for this quote where someone explained playing these games is watching an entire episode of The Sopranos, but it's periodically interrupted by a full episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and that's so funny because the Simpsons part is my favorite.
Yeah, I want more of that.
Yeah. But the contrast rips. It's like you have this heavy story, and when it gets too heavy, you can just go bowling.
Yeah, you can just go golfing or sing karaoke.
Yeah.
Play the entirety of Virtua Fighter 5.
Yeah. Ah, man. I guess they can't do arcade games in Ishin.
Huh. I mean, I feel like they could get away with some stripped down version of Taiko no Tatsujin, the drum and
definitely.
fun.
Yeah.
There's got to be mini games in it. Well, I guess they might have like. Yeah, is there any?
So the dancing mini game, I'm pretty sure it's like a Persona Dancing All Night, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
So like the first time you play it, it's just like you're using one of your thumbs to pick a direction, but I'm pretty sure like eventually you're using both to play like a rhythm game.
That's sort of how that new Final Fantasy one plays too. It's like direction based, but occasionally you have to hit triggers. I'm sorry, because they had, I don't know if you went dancing in Yakuza 0, but that rhythm game was weird. You kind of had to you had to get to a point on a little grid in as many moves as possible while staying in time with the beat.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
It's like Crypt of the Necro Dancer or something. It's like playing Snake really fast, but you have to wiggle the snake a lot before eating the ball.
Yeah.
But you just listen to Friday Night over and over again.
Yeah, I know that's your jam.
Yeah, 2 years in a row. That was my number one song on Spotify's like year in review. 2 whole years in a row.
That's wild.
Yep. The number one song.
So one minigame that I'm personally not vibing with in Ishin.
Ooh.
There's this character who talks a lot. Like you run into her talking with a friend and her friend's just like, yo, I can't take this. I need to leave. So the game is you sit through her story, right? She's just talking at you for like 5 minutes and you're expected to read the whole thing.
Okay.
And then by the end, she quizzes you on what she said.
What? I mean, it sounds like they just get the point. These games are very talky.
Yes.
Yeah. Them leaning into that, I love that.
They know I'm like a habitual like dialogue masher, and like really just like punished me for it. I failed her quiz.
Oh, so you weren't listening,
dude?
I'm picturing Kiryu like listening, but there's like sweat dripping down his forehead as he's trying not to explode.
Yeah,
I hope it's something like that. Oh, I don't know what other games they could throw in this. I can't name any ye old sports that would fit this era.
I did walk into like a gambling hall.
Okay, that works.
I didn't play any of those games because I don't know how they work. I don't know. Wasn't there like
the Mahjong hall? Dude, I can't play that game.
Yeah.
I even like look up guides for it. It's difficult.
I'm trying to think. I think those are most of the mini games I've experienced.
Yeah, how are you, like, have you made any, like, real progress in the story? I know the game really hasn't been out too long.
Yeah, I'm on like chapter 3 at this point. And like in true Yakuza fashion, it's like you're trying to find like the killer of like some kind of father figure to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right now in the story, you're trying to see if you can identify him by his fighting style because you did fight his killer.
Oh, yes, that's...
So you remember how this person fought and you're trying to fight that person so that you
Okay.
can identify them,
That's so good.
which is pretty tight. I got to be honest. I'm looking forward to running into more, isekai modern character models.
Yeah,
I haven't yet.
I know
I don't think.
specifically, probably to your benefit, also to mine, there was a lot of characters in the original release of this that were more based in that 3 through 5 era of Yakuza,
Mhm.
and they've sort of recast them all into like a dragon characters.
Yeah, which I definitely appreciate.
Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot more recognizable faces, which
Yeah.
really threw me through a loop when they started showing them off in the trailer. I'm like, oh man, are all these characters like, were they just remade into like a dragon? I didn't realize they were actually recasting Ishin characters.
Yeah. Right now, I think I've only seen like an older version of Nishiki.
Okay, your boy from Kiwami and Zero,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
who's also voiced by the same guy that does Ichiban.
Really?
Yeah, just fantastic. Very different characters.
Yeah, I was about to say their characters are so different.
Yeah, see, you wouldn't really notice. It was just something I was like fumbling through. Probably, if this game has an IMDb, it's probably where I was. I was
Yeah.
like, well, same guy.
Yeah. So I'm excited to play some more. Like honestly, I kind of dropped Persona 4 for some reason. I haven't given it like an honest chance, but I think this game I want to play through to the end.
Yeah, are you playing? Did you have Persona 4 on Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the handheld is like where it's got to be. I wonder what the season is for that, because definitely that game might be like a summer vacation game.
Yeah, maybe it'll hit a little bit more then. I'm also known to just get like completely sidetracked by things. Like I really wanted to play Death Stranding and I was like really enjoying Death Stranding until like Pokemon came out. And then I just had the hardest time going back to play Death Stranding, even though I know I would love it.
Yeah, there's like a spectrum of vibes I need to keep. I can't just jump from like one. I don't know, like Death Stranding sounds like it'd be a dreary game. It's like, how could I go from Pokemon and then jump into Death Stranding? The middle ground there is Yakuza.
Yeah. There's so many like mechanics in Death Stranding. And, when I took like a 2-week Pokemon vacation from it, I was like, oh boy, where do I start? I don't remember anything.
You drink Monster and pee Monster. Or did they remove Monster from the
No.
game?
It rains Monster, I think.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Your pee kills ghosts.
How could I confuse that? Got the pee rain mixed up with it.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I haven't played it.
Yeah, clearly.
What are the other good Yakuza fun facts? Besides the
Oh,
director.
yeah, you got more?
Yeah, so the director of all these games, Toshihiro Nagoshi, Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah, he did Super Monkey Ball, right?
Yeah, it's really funny going through like his library of games he was producer and director on. It's like Super Monkey Ball, Yakuza, Super Monkey Ball 2, Yakuza Dead Cells or whatever.
In the most recent Monkey Ball, there was like a collection. You could play as just like Kiryu in
Yeah, and
like
a
the
little
monkey
hamster
ball. And a little hamster ball, yeah, which is how I did play that game.
Yeah, that's so good. I think like what these games really excel at is having like at least the hook in a lot of these games. It's always like some seemingly small issue that managed to span and call back to like Yakuza 0. The whole thing is that there's literally just a plot of land that's up for sale.
Yeah.
A little empty lot. And that will carry you through 20 hours of stuff and still ends up being the most important detail of that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna have to get this game. I'll pick it up once I get through some of my backlog here. But I don't think I can ever miss one of these games.
Yeah.
Except for I didn't play the zombie one.
The zombie one?
Yeah, there's a whole spin-off game where there's a zombie outbreak in Kamurocho.
What are you talking about? That doesn't exist.
It 100% exists. Let me.
What's it called?
Yakuza Dead Souls.
What?
Yeah, Yakuza Dead Souls.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that exists. And I also didn't finish Yakuza 5.
Okay.
Because, man, I burned through these things over the course of the month. This is when now I was still pregnant with Rowan, but since she'd come in from work, I'd get dinner ready, and you'd sleep for like 18 hours. It's very tired during that. But then I'd be like, well, all right, this is a lot of time for Yakuza. And I played, I played all of them. And then I got about like halfway through 5 and realized I just wanted to jump into the new stuff. So I burned through 6.
Yeah.
And then I could finally play Like a Dragon, which is the one I wanted to play to begin with.
Right. Yeah. I always felt like I would have a fantastic time watching someone play these games.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I have a hard time doing it. I almost just like want to watch someone play like all the games I haven't played. Although, did you say 3 takes place in Okinawa?
Mm-hmm.
It's like is it like sunnier, like brighter?
Yeah. So it's very bright. The only downside to that game is just like 3 is where the remastered collection starts, where the games are no longer those Kiwami remakes. They're still kind of the old combat style, and they just look like upscaled PS3 games. They just don't play very well. But Okinawa is a beautiful place. This is where, I guess after the events of 2, Kira retires and opens up an orphanage on a beachfront in Okinawa. So your whole thing is spending time there. Somebody wants your land, so they want to destroy your orphanage. So you're not going to take that.
This might be my Yakuza game then.
Yeah, and there's an excellent...
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and there's like a driving range. Like it has the best golfing of all the games.
Okay.
And I kid you not, you can do like a couple of side missions and like getting stuck in mini games. But this is the shortest one. I think I beat it in under 10 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't start getting long until 4 and 5.
Okay. So I've played like most of Kiwami, not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say like those 2 games, the Kiwamis, are they like a mandatory?
Yeah, the mandatory reading is 1, 2, 0.
Okay. I have 0 down.
I'm trying to think too. There is some stuff in 2 that like never comes back.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really good game. It's got like
maybe
it's got the best combat and stuff.
The best combat?
It's got the best combat of the old punching styles.
Okay. Maybe I'll use the appeal of 3 because right now that's sounding like way more enticing than like the crime drama stuff.
Yeah, and these games are only as long as what you're putting into them on the side. The stories aren't bad, and there's obviously cutscenes. You can just a cutscene will be like 20 minutes, and you'll be like, "All right, I'm skipping this." You'll be fine. You'll get it through context clues. Right. But yeah, the Kiwamis, I burned through those really with just the promise of wanting to play the next game. There's always going to be an overarching story and something always dragging Kiryu back into the freaking Tojo clan.
Yeah.
So I just have a lovely time working through those. And I don't know if you prioritize some of them if you want to get to 3 before. Oh, what one's coming out next?
Is it 8? Like a Dragon 8?
Is
that what they're calling it?
Or that ridiculous titled one? the man who has no name or something?
Yakuza Dead Souls 2.
Oh, They better not do that.
What is
Yakuza. The Man Who Erased His Name.
That's the title?
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
I think it's between 6 and 7.
Between 6 and 7. Okay. But you play as Kiryu, right?
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Oh,
okay.
and so 6 is also a really cool game. So that can be like your end goal. Most people say 5 is their favorite, though. That's where,
Really?
Yeah, you spend a lot of that game as a taxi driver.
I feel like yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
I feel like I've heard everyone hypes up 0. The first 2 got a remake for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've heard people say 3 through 5 is like, just like make your way through them to get to 6. But 3 is sounding like my favorite, and you're just telling me now that 5
might also be your
rips.
favorite. And I loved 4. Yeah,
4 too.
Yeah, 4 is an incredible game. That's where you meet okay, yeah, I mean he's a guy that's really good in the rest of the games, but there's this dude who runs this place called Sky Finance. You need to play as him a lot. Because the big switch up with 4 and 5 is 4 you're actually playing as 4 different characters, and in 5 you're playing as 5 different characters. You have
really?
You're gonna be Kiryu following his taxi driver career, and you also play as his adoptive daughter if you want to become the best teen idol in Japan.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a good game.
So it's like Yakuza Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, essentially.
Well, Pentapath.
Yeah, the
The
Pentaverse.
Pentaverse.
Yeah, what the hell was that game that just came out? It's like it's like literally called
I was talking about the Michael Myers movie.
Holy moly. I forgot that came out too.
The Pentaverate.
Do you ever feel like there's just too much pop culture in your brain and it's poisoning all the good parts?
Yes.
got too many words that are constantly pouring out of my noggin.
Yeah.
And most of them are about the Tojo clan.
Yeah.
You never know what the Omni Alliance is going to do next.
Yeah, that's true. So I have some real homework to do.
Yeah, I don't know how to make this. So a big way we got you into Yakuza, I think you would have fell down this path eventually anyways. We all do. But we made a pretty fair trade, which it took me longer to finish my end of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
But Yakuza 0 is one of my favorite games. So I offered, if you played that, I would play one of your favorite games, which is Nier Automata.
Yes.
Now they're both 2 of my favorite games.
Yeah. I might have played Like a Dragon first.
Oh, yeah. So you would have fallen down this hole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like a Dragon is so far removed that people can play that whenever they feel like.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly feel like that's a good starting point for the series, at least in my experience.
Yeah, if you want to be in the... They definitely throw some names at you that the context of 6 or 7 previous games might help with.
Yeah.
I still swear by 1, 0, and then 2.
1, 0, and then 2?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's my preferred path. So it's sort of the same bit of storytelling that, one of the classics, Star Wars. The first movie people were exposed to was Episode 4. And in that, it already has big names. The Skywalkers, Darth Vader, Ben Kenobi. Mm-hmm. These are all people that are there. You just accept that they exist. You don't know their backstory.
Yeah.
Then, many years later, out comes Episode 1. Now you're learning the story of what created Darth Vader. What was Ben Kenobi in his prime? Like, how did... You know where these people are. Now you're going to see where they came from.
That's the one with the lightsaber, right?
Lifesavers.
That's the lifesavers?
Lifesavers. And Jar Jar stinks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like a good bit of storytelling. I think it just makes more sense if you go from... You play Yakuza 1 and then play the prequel to get that weird Star Wars contrast. And then just play them in order.
Right. Okay. So the definitive James order is 1, 0,
Mm-hmm.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Exactly.
Like a dragon?
And yeah, you just play that last.
Dang. It's a lot of homework.
That's the definitive, and all listeners must do it.
Yeah. It should be noted, if you don't do that, you're not like a real gamer.
You're not, and real
Sorry.
gamers or real Yakuza use a gamepad.
Gamepad?
Yeah, that's like the message that always displays when you start up one of these games.
Yeah.
I don't know if that only happens on computer, though. They don't want you to play these with a keyboard
Really?
or a fight stick. You've never seen this screen?
No, I haven't. But what you just said, I think my dream game essentially is Yakuza, but instead of like brawls, it's a 2D fighting game. You know what I mean?
So what, like a Tekken? You want like a Tekken Yakuza game or an actual fighter?
It's like an RPG, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you run around like a modern day city, and when you get into a fight, it turns into a 2D fighting game.
Ooh, yeah, I think we might have discussed this at some point before, but that's the dream game.
That's the dream game. It kind of sounds like Street Fighter 6 is going to be like that.
Yeah, I really don't understand and the character creator lets you become a complete monster. Why is that in the game? And like, why are there any characters in the game if I can make my own character?
Yeah.
It's like Madden 2004, where I replaced the 2004 Bengals team with all my friends.
Yeah.
I would just do that in Street Fighter if I could.
Yeah. No more Chun-Li.
God, I hope that's what Street Fighter 6 is like.
Hey, have you been playing anything else?
I was going to say, we talked about every Yakuza game. Well, first, what's your recommendation on Ishin?
What do you mean?
People should play it. It's more, if you love Yakuza, you're going to love Ishin.
It's 7.2 out of 10. I'm sorry,
Okay,
that was mean. That was mean and reductive.
I can't believe you've done that.
It's more Yakuza, baby. Just like different time period.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm rocking with it.
Now, you asked if I've been playing games. I played 2 games this week, but I've also I've also been reading a book. So
no books allowed.
Yeah, well, let me get the book out of the way then.
Yeah,
so I've been reading The Way of Kings. It's part of the Stormlight Archive, written by Brandon Sanderson. It's just a big beefy fantasy book, and I'm looking for this void that's been left in my heart since finishing, the Song of Ice and Fire, the Game of Thrones series. The 5th book in that came out in like 2012, which for show watchers is like, it's like season 5-ish. So, everything after that has just been kind of made up, and there's been no book ever since. So I've just been itching for a series that's like still going with way too many pages. This thing's The Way of Kings. It's like 1,200 pages.
Jeez, man.
I read for like...
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Can I ask, is it nice to like consume a fantasy novel that isn't attached to like any popular culture?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that title or author or anything. It sounds like refreshing.
Yeah, so, and it has, I wouldn't say a cult following, but there's a lot of people, like Brandon Sanderson writes a lot of fantasy stuff. They're probably like the best up and coming writer that very soon, I'm sure Amazon and all these people are going to jump on and start making Stormlight Archive show. He does another series, I think the first book's called Mistborn or something, but yeah, he just has a lot of these continuing fantasy franchises that are all really well written and are ripe for studios to pick up and turn into live action money printing machines. But for right now is a nice spot. And I'm reading on a Kindle Paperwhite, which gives you like a percentage of how much book you're done. And it's like, you have 32 hours of book left.
What percentage are you at?
I'm at 5%. Which,
dang.
Yeah, and I felt like I was reading for a while.
Does that feel intimidating or like exciting?
So I haven't really read stuff in a while, And
Hmm.
when I usually, like, I guess the last real series I burned through was Game of Thrones, and I crushed all 5 of those books over like a 2 month period. And what I find with having a percentage there is like, all right, I'm going to knock out 2% tonight. Or like, I'm just
Okay.
going to read a percent before bed.
I feel like books need achievements, like in games. You know what I'm talking about?
That's what I'm saying.
Like you should get a notification when you complete a chapter that like has a title and a trophy associated with it.
Yeah, nice book.
And then it says like 5% completed.
You really read that. Or like, and then you can speedrun the book. Read the book in 10
Maybe
minutes.
maybe you get like some kind of currency to spend on outfits.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. If you could dress up the pages, you could unlock fonts. I want to unlock Comic Sans.
Yeah, that's what you want to unlock.
Yeah. But yeah, for our listeners, books suck. We hate books. But
Yeah.
having a percentage in our count, I find is really it incentivizes the reading. It turns it into a manageable little like obtainable goal. You know, oh, I want
Hmm.
to get down to only have like 30 hours left. Like I wish video games had this timer instead of me having to go to howlongtobeat.com and then trying to guess where I'm at in the game.
Yeah. I should note, I think this is true in most of the Yakuza games, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
There is like a percentage. I can see how many sub stories I completed. It gives me a percentage, actually.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I just I need to play
So
better games.
there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good book. But I've also been playing Pokemon Emerald.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is very fun. I just started that like 2 nights ago. Again, I'm already realizing there's no good starters in this game. And when you move into town, you're riding with the boxes. Like, I forgot you wake up in the back of the moving truck.
Yeah, that's like not chill.
Yeah, and
It's
they're
like
like,
unsafe.
yeah, and there's just a bunch of Pokemon moving the boxes for you. Your mom's like, Pokemon movers are the best. Again, establishing a career profile in the Pokemon world.
You casually dropped that there are no good starters in this game and didn't
Mm-hmm.
really like expand upon that.
Yeah, so Mudkip. Mudkip's cute. Swampert is not.
No, he's a cool.
Torchic.
Okay,
Torchic's a Digimon.
that's true.
And that's it.
Trico.
No, so usually unless it's Turtwig, we don't talk about grass starters.
Okay.
Tell me Trico's your favorite.
Sceptile's pretty cool.
Oh, is that what?
It's a big
Okay,
dinosaur.
I think I might have had Trico. What's the grass like? Is there a snake one? No.
Dog, that's in like Gen 5, I think.
The hell is that thing?
Surviper?
Is that not the same Pokemon?
No.
Is that a grass starter even? What the hell is a Survivor? I don't pick grass starters.
It's because you're biased, or here, I'm gonna send you a photograph.
Survivor is like a Team Rocket ass Pokemon. That's a dark type.
Oh, I don't know, dude. I just sent you an image on Discord. What do you think of this guy?
I like nothing about it. I don't like him.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah. Okay. No, that thing is better than Swampert.
He's cool. He's a cool
And
dinosaur guy with a bushy
Definitely
tail.
better. Yeah, definitely better than Blaziken.
All right, we can handshake on that,
Yeah, Blaziken wears Jinko jeans.
which is kind of tight if you think about it.
Hey, maybe Blaziken's cool.
Maybe all of them are good. So Pokemon Emerald, that gen is fantastic.
Yeah, and I like the whole like seaside bit of the game. The game has a really nice environments.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started this game twice. One, we just had a laptop hooked up to the TV, so now we could play Sims on the television through a wireless keyboard,
Nice.
which was a nice time. You know, I like watching The Sims up there. But anywho, she wasn't using it, so I threw Pokemon Emerald up there. because I have it on my computer. I put the GBA cartridge in my computer, threw it on the TV.
Mm-hmm.
Some Game Boy games look kind of weird if you blow them up on the TV. Emerald doesn't.
Yeah.
It looks good. There's nothing bad about that. Put that on the biggest screen possible. But no, I'm playing it on my 3DS now.
Okay.
Yeah, put the GBA cartridge in there.
Yeah, in your 3DS.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think I might, because I weirdly also have Omega Ruby, like actually in the 3DS cartridge.
Weird.
I don't know. I know. I turned that off pretty quickly. I've been having a better time with Emerald.
I think that art style is a little more timeless.
Yeah.
The GBA, yeah.
And I always prefer just like the classic music.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
The classical music, but I prefer this over like the orchestral versions they've remade.
You mean like Bach, like classic music?
I hate that they put Chopin in the second gym. You know Chopin?
Yeah. Like Claude Debussy.
Got the Claude from Claire de Lune.
Yeah.
Sorry, I tried to do a southern thing. I can't.
Yeah, you tried your best.
Yeah, I did my bit. But that's all I've been playing. Honestly, I've been doing the book, so I'm glad there was plenty of Yakuza to talk about.
Yeah. What's on deck for next week? Should I read a book? No, I don't want to read a book.
You want to do a book episode? It's really hard to bring a book to a video game podcast. The only way I could even bring that is because it had a percentage and how long to beat.
Yeah, it's a different medium, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least we can do book club next week. And do you think you can read 1,200 pages in a week? You gonna read?
No. I don't remember. This is so sad. I don't remember the last book I've read.
Yeah. I mean, reading is...
It's sad.
Reading's tough. And sometimes it's really hard to get a good book feel, too. A lot of longer books come in a pretty bad format where if you're not forcing the book open with both hands for the entire time, it closes on itself. It's kind of a first world problem, but sometimes the paper is too tough.
Yeah.
That's where we reveal that I'm a very soft lad. I can't hold books open. I'm too weak.
You could wear like rubber gloves.
Yeah, I need to wear a thimble to read. I keep getting paper cuts.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie though, so I was opening a box of bagel bites yesterday, and I got a real bad paper cut.
From the cardboard?
Yeah, I was breaking down the cardboard so it'd fit better in my recycling.
Ugh.
And I got a paper cut from the bagel bites.
I just got like goosebumps real bad.
It's not like, like a terrible spot. It's like on like the side of my finger. Not like
this is really good. This is really good audio.
Yeah. I really hurt my finger and I wanted people to know about it.
No, I just can't imagine I'm the only one who like physically cringes at the idea of a paper cut. Like, I don't know if you can hear my discomfort right now.
It's like super deep.
Did it hit the bone?
Dude, it took the whole finger off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why
the back on.
Well, I didn't notice there was a pair of garden shears inside the box of bagel bites.
Mm-hmm. They don't tell you that.
Yeah, it got me. Then I stepped on a rake. Slipped on a banana peel.
Yeah. Did you die?
Yeah, I did. And then I woke up in like a dragon Ishin. And then
excellent.
And then all my friends were there.
Yeah.
Wearing Edo Japan Bengals jerseys.
Yeah.
How can we lump all of our inside jokes into this
No, dude, segment? I think you did it.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And then I got pied in the balls.
No.
Oh, God.
That's how you got isekai'd.
That's how I got isekai. Damn it, Johnny Knoxville. Got me again.
Okay.
Wow, good stuff. Is there actually anything going on next week. I'm trying to think of like what's next. Like this was the time of year where like there's a lot of stuff that was coming out all at once. But Ishin was the last thing I was looking forward to.
Yeah, this kind of like JRPG winter is almost done.
We might have to go back to topics.
Ugh.
Like the past like 4 months have just been so game heavy because there's been mad games. But we might have to tackle, will be the final say on whether or not video games are art. We can play just old shit.
Yeah.
We'll read books.
There's actually a game I do want to play. Maybe I'll get that moving before next week.
Yeah, I was dabbling in Superliminal. I'll go back to that, but I can't play that on stream. That turned my brain into absolute pudding.
Yeah.
It was so difficult.
Cool. You want to rap?
Rap what?
You got bars.
Yeah, you can find us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Bye. No, and Mastodon, beastmodjames at mstdn.com.games.james.
Yeah. Tumblr, Rich Crudell.
You got a new video out, and I don't know what you got against Professor Oak, but
yeah, you'll have to see to find out.
Yeah, it's cool. I'll be streaming on Wednesday morning, playing some stuff that isn't Katamari.
Cool.
Got Dookie jokes. What are you having for lunch today?
Probably like a PBJ. What about you?
I got a big box of honey buns. I think I might have one of those.
Sick.
This is the driest ending ever.